All right. Paul, come on up. We're going to switch out, right?
Okay, hi everyone. Sorry for the brief delay there. I'm digging this speed dating thing, so I'll try and go a little more quickly, even though we do get a couple more minutes. In that spirit, we're sort of old fans and friends of New York VR. So of the folks that are here, who has not heard of Sketchfab before? Okay, so a couple of folks. So just briefly then, I'll just give you just a very brief overview, but then there's a couple of new things I wanted to share tonight. So Sketchfab, sketchfab.com, founded about 5 years ago. We are think of us as essentially a sort of a kind of a YouTube of 3D content. We are I believe this is a number that's always in debate, but I certainly like to say we're the largest repository of 3D content online. We have over 2 million pieces of content right now contributed from over 1.5 million members, and that number increases every time we come to speak with you guys, I'm pleased to say. Come to sketchfab.com and you'll get a good sense of the variety of content that we see. We use a WebGL technology to be able to present content in a browser, and as a result we do tend to favor real-time content. So that might be game art or fan art or so forth. So this is much like something like a YouTube or a Vimeo. You can come here and see not only the 3D model but also the description, and you have an opportunity to see what else the artist has done and comment on it and like and share and so forth. So, it's everything from artists who are using us as a way to embed their content on their own portfolios to, more commercial enterprises like engineering and architecture that want a way to be able to share a 3D model just simply by sending a link. So that's just kind of the brief overview on us, but I did want to share a couple of new things since we were last here that maybe some of the folks here who are familiar with us haven't seen before. One thing is that, of course, we have a mobile app, and that is a way to access all of the content that we have on our site now on the device in your pocket. It used to be about a year or so ago that we had a sort of a curated subset of content that was only possible to visit a few things online, but now you can actually download the latest mobile app and see everything that's anything that's on site, whether it's your work or somebody else's. You can now view it in your mobile browser, essentially on our mobile app. In addition, because of the fact that we can bring it to your mobile device, that allows us to do two things immediately, which is one, support mobile VR. So any one of those 2 million plus pieces of content you can view in VR with a Google Cardboard or Daydream or something similarly. And then the final update here that was fairly recent for us was the addition of, we have audio as well, was the addition of AR support through AR Core and AR Kit. So this is just sort of a brief overview of that. So you can take any one of the models, for example, taking this model page here, and you can actually transplant it with the AR into real life. So if you yourself as a content creator are creating something that want to very quickly test in AR, this is a great way to quickly upload a model and view it in an AR environment without having to write a single line of code. So, obviously we have a lot of folks who just want to sort of try and explore the content, but, given the audience tonight, I think that's a kind of a key benefit there. My 3D work stolen from Sketchfab, that's probably, that's a whole other subject. So, in other news, the Sketchfab Store, again, in the spirit of the folks that are here tonight, it's not just about content creation. Sometimes it's about looking for artists. Sometimes it's about looking for work that is suitable. Perhaps to the surprise of nobody, in the last few months we've released the Sketchfab Store. So think of us like, historically this would be a space owned by somebody like Turbo Squid. Now anybody who is an active member of the Sketchfab community has the option to sell their content online. I know it's been a long time coming for a lot of people. We're still very much in beta at this point. We're anticipated to come out of beta sometime in the summer, but already very much up and operational. And just to kind of give you a sense of the thing that I think distinguishes us from the competition is the fact that, for example, here's a piece of content that this artist Pasco has for sale Obviously, the first point of differentiation is I can now go ahead and fully explore this item within the browser. So instead of going to a traditional 3D e-commerce website where I can purchase a 3D model where I may be looking at renders or renders of wireframes, here I can actually go ahead and look at the model. But then we go one step further, which is allowing inspection of that model. So if you're concerned about, for example, the topology of that model and finding out what the wireframe count is, you can do that again directly in a browser. I might want to check out the different textures themselves, base color here. This is using a PBR workflow for those of you who are familiar with that rendering approach, a roughness map, a normal map. I can even go ahead and find out if the artist who unwrapped this did a pretty good job unwrapping it to UVs. So it's a way to essentially preview any piece of 3D content before purchasing it, and hopefully gives you a confidence that you're kind of buying something that you're going to be happy about. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to share with you today that's a little new is we've had exporters for some time, so the ability to create content in your favorite 3D workflow, whether that be anything from sort of ZBrush to Blender to Maya and all points in between. We're now starting to flow that the other way now, which is the ability to bring in Sketchfab content into your workflow as well. So what you can see here at the top that we already out of the gate supporting Unity, the Godot engine and Unreal Engine. And just to kind of give you a sense of what this means in the real world, let me just quickly pull up a Unity here. So here I am in Unity, and let me just close this down just for 1 second. I'm going to try and do this one-handed. If you download our package, it's completely free to download and install. You'll go ahead and get a Sketchfab edition to your Unity build. And you can, of course, upload anything to Sketchfab directly from Unity. But the new offering from us is the ability to browse the Sketchfab catalog. Now, at this point in time, this is to browse anything that's freely available to download under Creative Commons licensing. So this isn't yet access to everything in the store, but it is access to, I think it's something like 250,000 models accessible here. And I can go ahead basically and search by keyword or search, browse by thumbnail, by category, and so forth. So let's go ahead and search in pets, animals and pets, and see what's here. And of course, it's everything from kind of, sort of low poly artwork to more photorealistic work here. We have a lot of photogrammetry scans as well, which is, potentially helpful content. And let's go ahead and, I don't know, let's select this object here. So mosquito in amber. So this certainly seems to be some kind of photogrammetry scan. And then I can download that here. And you can see it's just going to take a moment to download the model. It might take a moment or two here just to add the textures as well. But it's going to bring these directly into Unity. So here we go, importing images. This is like Office Space. It's loading bars to loading bars, but trust me, it will come in. Okay, so there it is. It's successfully loaded. This jacket is in the background here is one that I downloaded just a few moments ago. But if I go to, let's see here, to meshes, textures, okay, import mosquito in amber, and here I can bring that now into the scene here and bring it straight into the Unity environment. And it comes with all of the textures and so forth associated. So in this particular packet, for those of you who are familiar with Unity, not only does the base mesh come in, but all the materials are there, the meshes that comprise it, and the textures themselves, and those are all assigned automatically. So again, it's a great way to get content directly into your prototypes and potentially into your full product. So thank you, and we'll be sticking around for a few minutes afterwards if anyone has any questions.
Actually, before you go anywhere, maybe we'll take 2 questions for you. Does anybody have any questions for Sketchfab?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see if it is a material And I apologize, I'm not super familiar with Unity. I'm wondering if it is the normals are either reversed or whether the material is set and needs to be set from transparent. But it does appear to be that there's a mesh there. Sorry, meshes. There's the mesh. So it's there somewhere.
Any other questions? Brett?
Yes, sorry.
You mentioned that the assets are royalty-free, but then you also mentioned photogrammetry. How do you handle if someone starts, taking pictures of something that might be, copyrighted?
Yeah, that's a great question. Did everybody hear that? So this is just sort of an interesting, I guess, philosophical question now that we're entering into now as we're digitizing the world around us. The short answer is it depends. When it comes to, for example, if I were to go to, let's say, the Louvre, and I was to take photogrammetry photographs of, a famous painting there, it really does become a question of the institution themselves as to whether they want to claim a copyright to that. Some artists' estates are very happy for you to take a public artwork and redistribute it as a digital file. And some artists' estates aren't, and it depends on the institution, it depends on the artist. So we do as a company, we certainly do periodically deal with sort of DMCA takedowns where someone presses that issue, but that is I will say that is a rarity, not a commonality. So. Yeah. Yes. So from the 3D modeling perspective, so the question was, what's the best background? I would just say we now have such amazing tutorials and so forth available to us online. I actually have a traditional arts background, and I studied sort of sculpture and painting, and from there moved into graphic design and ultimately into 3D. But a lot of that stuff came after my time at college, and I became self-taught. And I just think there's just so much amazing content available out there now. Of course, as with all things on YouTube, you have to sort of sift through to find the good stuff. And it's worth sort of doing a little bit of research to find out who's a reputable person to train. But whether it's anything from Blender or ZBrush or Maya or what have you, there are some just amazing pieces of content out there. If you have any particular questions afterwards and want to grab me, I'll be happy to help you. Okay.
Thank you very much.